Hey there, and welcome to the UkeStuff, and welcome to this full UkeGuide review of this instrument. This is the Bigfish Concert Ukulele. These caught my eye on Amazon, just scrolling through, a little different look, and I contacted the company and asked if I could get a discount on the instrument. So I think they gave me something like a 10% discount above and beyond the sale price at the time. So this was not a free ukulele, but I do ask for discounts if I'm going to be reviewing an instrument. It just saves the problem of getting instruments for free or being reimbursed afterwards, having to disclaim when something has been whatever. It just saves the process if you're just up front and say, can I get a discount up front? And as I'm not reviewing specifically for Amazon but for my own channel, that works out really well for me. So this one, again, really caught my eye with sort of a different look, and you'll also see the package in a couple of minutes. Now, what this full UkeGuide review does is, first of all, it looks at some subjective issues that I look at with all the instruments. Second, I look at specifications for the instruments. Then I give you a summary and a UkeGuide rating. If you ever want a one-page summary of everything that's in this video, you can go to UkeGuide.info or ukestuff.info. UkeStuff.info is my normal blog sort of web page, but the UkeGuide.info link takes you right to the UkeGuide page in that blog. So you can download a PDF there. You can also see all the ratings for the instruments. We're above 85 instruments at this point that I've reviewed, closing in on 100. So kind of fun to keep working on that project as a hobby. So let's begin with the subjective issues. The first is cost. Now, the only place I've seen these are Amazon, and the list price is $89. They will go on sale occasionally, and in fact, I've even seen on Keepa.com a return one of these that I would have bought instead at a much lower price for around $50 as a return. So they are out there and available on Amazon right now in a variety of colors. Now, in terms of value, let's talk about what you're getting. You're getting a concert ukulele. It is a laminate linden wood ukulele. Now, I don't have anything against linden wood. The flight travel ukuleles are made of linden wood, so it can be a really decent, bright, ringy sort of tone laminate wood for you. So I have no problem with that, and it's painted so you can't see it anyway. So you have a linden wood body along with a maple neck and a pick guard. So that's what you're looking at as an instrument. Now let's take a look at the various things that you get with it. All right, so I kept the box for now, and it's a really nice box. Again, I'm not rating boxes here, so I'm not going through that, but let's just go through the things you get. First of all, you get a sort of ballistic case, very reminiscent of the Enya Nova. So it's the same exact sort of case, zipper, connection of the strap on the back and everything. So the negative about these, I've seen the shoulder straps pull out. However, you can fix them. That's pretty cool. But you have no pockets to put anything. So if you want to bring extra strings, a string winder, a tuner or whatever, that all has to kind of rattle around loose in the case. And that does concern me a little bit with a plastic ukulele. So that's the first thing. You get a sort of guide page about the ukulele. So you get that. You get a strap that comes with it. You get a stand. You get strings. You get a white tuner. I saved the box, but that's there. You get a capo as well. And then there are some plastic picks of 3 different depths. You get sort of a catalog of the different colors that you can order. And you get a cleaning cloth. And realistically, that's all you need, really, for starting off with an ukulele. So in terms of value, you're getting everything that you really need to start off with the instrument. However, there are some other brands out there that include just as many things. And for example, Acklot with a solid top mahogany instrument with a pretty decent kit as well for less money. So it's a good value, but there are better values. So it's this kind of mixed bag. If you buy one of these, you're still getting a lot for your money. Now, in terms of build quality, overall, looking at it, it's really well put together. It does have a joint in the neck here, and as I've mentioned in other videos, there are other manufacturers who talk about getting that joint above the nut so that the transmission of vibrations goes all the way through the neck into the body. I don't know about the validity of that statement, but I've heard it said. That joint is pretty well sort of hidden. This one is a little more obvious down there, and so many are going to have those joints one place or another in, of course, the headstock or on the neck or in the heel. So that's to be expected, but that maple is otherwise, it's a nice finish. There's a nice shape at the top here. The headstock is differently shaped, which is appreciated. The logo looks just fine. And then otherwise, the paint is nice and smooth, well done. There's no chipping. There's not any overspray in the sound hole, which is really nice. Sometimes you see that. You've got a diminutive maple bridge down there. Comes with strap buttons. So on the outside, it's really put together quite well, with the only negative being some sharp fret ends that I'm going to have to deal with. And I'll do another video showing how I deal with that with this instrument, because you don't want to scratch that paint. So on the outside, it's pretty much flawless. How about the inside? All right, let's take a look at the inside of the Bigfish ukulele, the black model. All right, as we look inside, you can see that it's laminate. There are the pins. There are also beads on the end of the string. So they tied a bead on the end of the string and then put in the pins. Incidentally, Tonal now actually makes pins without that groove. They also previously suggested that you put the pins in the other way with the groove facing out. So if you are changing pins, that's something to keep in mind. Overall, the construction here is pretty clean and tidy. There's not much glue mess. There's a little bit. You can see the tail block up there with some glue. You can see the bracing. You can see the bridge plates, some extra glue on the side there, but nothing too bad. You can see the brace that goes along the top, even though you don't see those junction points of the soundboard because of the paint on the outside. So let's take a look at the upper bout of the instrument. All right, let's take a look at the upper bout of the instrument. There you can see the notch kerfing, and then up on the top here, we can see one of the braces. There's the neck block up there. You can see more of the laminate that makes up the ukulele. Generally a pretty clean standard build. And that's our quick look at the black Bigfish Concert Ukulele. All right, so we're back. So yeah, really cleanly built $90 instrument. So no complaints in the construction of this instrument. Now, how about the appearance? Well, I contacted them because I thought it looked pretty cool. And it has quite a few features that other ukuleles don't have. Obviously a gloss finish with paint. There's a lot of gloss finishes out there, but it's sort of like a lacquer finish versus a paint finish that's gloss. You get, even though it's plastic, it looks pretty cool. You get a pick guard, even though you don't strum with a pick there. But nonetheless, it's kind of a cool look, and the shape is nice while still having a traditionally shaped ukulele. The bridge is nice and small, and of course it's a pin bridge. We'll talk about that later, but that's a nice effect. The maple look of a maple neck, there's something unique about that, being a generation that's grown up with the electric guitar as a standard. A maple neck on an electric guitar is very, very common, so this is sort of reminiscent of that. The only real negative that I have with the instrument is the white position markers on the front. Now I know that's going along with the buttons, but it just makes it hard to see, even with your glasses. So it's very much like the bamboo ukuleles that I've reviewed. When the position markers on the front are white, it makes it hard to see. Now, thankfully, the side position markers are black, small but black, and you can see them much easier than that. So overall, there are quite a few little, twists and tricks or twists and tweaks to the traditional ukulele here. Not overtly so, but enough to kind of give you a very, very different look. And again, enough to make me inquire about it. So appearance is going towards quite a few appointments for sort of a, painted ukulele. In terms of availability, if you want one of these, you can find it on Amazon. Look up Bigfish, all one word, on Amazon to find that. To show you just like the logo there, Bigfish, all one word. Now in terms of playability, overall, it's a pretty standard 35 millimeter nut. The depth of the neck generally is C-shaped, so pretty common. It does level out a little bit right at, that first and second fret area, so that is nice. Nothing really gonna bother you with the playability. The only thing is those slightly sharp frets that do need to be dealt with, and thankfully that'll be very easy and quick to deal with. Now, how about the sound? Okay, I'll just play this again just to refresh my own memory. A lot of sustain on that C in particular. And it lasts for some good amount of time. The sound is balanced though. It's decently loud. It does lack some character of obviously a solid wood ukulele or a solid top ukulele, but it's not unpleasing. It's a warm sound, and there are some harmonics that pop out in it. So the sound overall is pretty decent. I have no complaints here. As a first ukulele, kit, because that's kind of what you're getting here, is everything you need for a first ukulele. There's really nothing to be negative about in terms of the sound. It's not a solid wood ukulele. It's not a solid top ukulele. And as a laminate, it has a nice warm sound. Now, I might try it with some fluorocarbon strings later to see if that brings out more sparkle. I might not. The strings that come with it do a pretty good job for this instrument. Yeah. Now, one of the things I like to do is to use the app Tonal Energy Tuner to let you sort of see what I'm hearing. So what I'm going to do is open that app, and I'm going to play the C chord 3 times and let you see what I'm hearing. Here we go. So you can see how that C just wants to hang on and on and on with this instrument. So, you always want the sustain to be across the board or even in the high ends for me. That's what I really like. I like sparkle and shimmer. It has sustain. It's not really a boxy sound. It's a laminate sound, but it's a good sound. So again, $90 instrument, pretty decent sound for what you're getting. All right, now that we've talked about the subjective issues, let's talk about the specifications. It is a concert ukulele, and the scale length from nut to saddle is 14.875 inches, so just a touch shorter than 15 inches. There are 18 frets and 14 to the body. It does have side position markers like we've already talked about, and it does have those white front position markers as well. The body is a traditional double bout shape with that gloss paint on it. The soundboard is laminate lindenwood, as is the back and as are the sides. You really can't see really what the wood is or anything because it's covered in that gloss paint. The fretboard is made out of maple, and it is not a radius fretboard. It's a flat fretboard. The bridge is also made out of maple, and it's a pin bridge. So what happens is you tie a knot in your string, and you put the string in, and then you put the pin in. Now, as we saw in the internal view of this instrument, they actually have the slot of the pin pointed towards the string. Canalea flips that around. So when you change the strings, you might want to put the groove away from the string, and then you won't necessarily even need the bead. The knot would be enough to hold the string into place on that diminutive maple bridge there. Now, the nut and saddle appear to be made of plastic, and the saddle is not compensated. It's just a flat saddle, which isn't a bad thing. That's just what it is. It's a gloss painted body with a satin neck, so it's not a gloss neck. That's all really rather nice. The length is 23.75 inches from tip to tail, and it weighs 1 pound 5.2 ounces, which is a little bit heavier than average, but not by much, and it's well balanced. The tuner type are sealed, closed, geared tuners with white buttons that sort of match the white effects elsewhere on the ukulele. The action at the first fret was 0.5 millimeters. The action at the 12th fret was 2.25 millimeters. So the action is really good as well. I forgot to mention in playability that action was decent. I haven't had to touch it at all. The nut width is 34.93 millimeters, so a standard 35 millimeter nut. The spacing of the strings, but at the first fret, so that's where I measure it, is 8.79 millimeters, which is pretty average for a 35 millimeter import ukulele. It's 28.82 millimeters from G to A, roughly 29 millimeters, which is also pretty standard spacing. People with large hands probably are not going to like that. And the depth of the neck at the third fret is 21.63 millimeters from the top of the string to the bottom of the neck. That's actually on the chunkier side, but the neck does taper down quickly up here, even at the first couple of frets. So while I would like to see a little bit flatter profile of the neck altogether, it's not bad by any means and is quite comfortable to play. So that summarizes the specifications for the instrument. With that in mind, let's move on to the summary. So yes, this instrument absolutely caught my eye on Amazon, and enough so for me to reach out to the seller and say, hey, I would like to review your instrument. Would you be willing to send me a discount code? Not looking for a freebie, just looking for a discount code, because I buy these out of my own pocket when a company doesn't send them to me to review. And they were able to do so. I think, again, like a 10% discount off of the sale price at the time. And again, I've seen them selling used even cheaper than that, and I sort of wish I had waited to see it used, even though I do watch Keepa all the time to see what's on sale for reviews. Now, ultimately, you get a basswood or a lindenwood laminate ukulele that, that's not the highest end wood or anything, but it works just fine. And it has a decent tone with a pretty normal 35 millimeter setup with nice low action, pretty normal string spacing, and actually a pretty well shaped neck up at the top where most of your playing is going to be as a beginner. It comes with a really neat kit. The sort of ballistic, soft ballistic gig bag is a neat touch. It's just different. I again sort of lament that there's no pocket in there to store things, but that's just something you'll deal with. But you are getting a bunch of things that you need to store somewhere, so just keep that in mind as you buy this instrument. And I'm not sure you want to throw a tuner or other things or a capo in there with a painted finish. That is one of my only real concerns about the instrument is paint chipping over time, because what happens if you drop it, or what happens if it bumps something and the paint chips? That's really my only concern. I don't know how easy it is to repair that or to sort of hide that damage if it happens. So it's a good value. There are better values, but trust me, if one of my students walked in with one of these, the only thing I would really check is to make sure that the fret ends were nice and smooth. And if they weren't, the first thing I would do is take the instrument from them, tape it off, and sand those frets and solve that problem. All right, now, if I were to give this ukulele a review, what rating would I give it? It's all based upon relative value. It's a good value. It's a good instrument. I'm pretty pleased with this. If this was my first ukulele, I'd be very, very happy with it. So I would give this a 4 out of 5, and it's very, very close to 4.5. Mainly because, again, it's at that $90 price point rather than perhaps a $70 price point. If you can find it on sale at some point in that $65 to $70 range, and that might happen from time to time, then it goes up to a 4.5. But if it stays at that $90 price point for now with the other competition that's out there, there are slightly better ukuleles for less money on the market. So knowing the value situation between instruments right now, yeah, it's very good. 4.0, absolutely recommended. And if you can find it on sale, it might even become a 4.5 realistically. Now, again, is this a Kamaka? Is this a Koloha? Is this a Kanalea? Is this a Kolau? No, this is not a solid top ukulele. It is a cool looking entry level ukulele that plays well, set up well, sounds good. And I mean, what more can you really ask for? And if it's something that's going to draw you to playing it more on a daily basis because it looks cool, why not? I'm a tuba player, and a few years ago there was a company called Kelly Mouthpieces that started making mouthpieces out of Lexan. And I like those because I could play outside in colder weather and not have my lips and mouth freeze when I was playing, especially as I was marching and doing other things in cold weather. But they also came with really cool colors. And one of my thoughts as a music teacher was, if my student is going to practice more because they have a cool looking mouthpiece and a colored looking mouthpiece, and that's going to get them to practice, then by all means, I don't need every ounce of resonance that's offered by a metal mouthpiece. That Lexan is going to do just fine for that, and it's going to keep that kid playing. I'm all for that. Even thought so with like the plastic trombones, the P-bone, for example, that's made out of plastic. If that's cool and is going to get your kid to keep playing, you know what? Yeah, they can move on to a better instrument down the road. But for now, if that's going to get them playing, go for it. Is something like this is going to attract you to playing because of its looks and it has a decent sound and a decent playing experience? Why not? I'm not going to be the person that says that you need to go and buy this $400 ukulele to enjoy playing ukulele. Nope. Yeah. So there it is. 4 out of 5. Pretty good, with the potential of going up to a 4.5 if you can find it on sale. All right. Thanks so much for joining me on this review. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll be back soon with some more Uke stuff for you.